Nerf. It's what's for breakfast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Captain Frank Hawks, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Nerf with you. So, many of you have seen this, as I am just goofing off on my channel. This right here is my baby. It really is. It is my absolute favorite Nerf gun and my very modest Nerf collection. If you would go in, please. This is a AccuStrike Alpha Trooper. I have heard people on YouTube tout how good a stock Alpha Trooper is, and I never once believed them. It's just beautiful. It really is. But today is January 30th. Correction, today is January 31st. Yesterday was my birthday, and I decided to buy something for myself. And we're going to talk about it. And if you've already read the title of this particular episode, you will know what this is. This is a Captain Slug Flak. This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. And I'm going to talk about some of the things that I have done to it, because, and many of you aren't going to like this needs a little bit more R&D. Not much, just a little. And we're going to go over it. We're going to start from the rear, and we're going to move our way forward. And I'm going to talk about it a little, and about why I love it so much. It's beautiful. It's amazing to me, because I've never had anything that shoots as far as this is, as straight as it does, nor anything that has sights that are actually usable. I mean, like, I can stand at the back wall of my son's room, like with my back to the wall, and shoot this, and it will hit in the dining room, which is clear on the other side of the house. And the only thing stopping it is the wall. And I love it. It's beautiful. Now, whenever I first got this flak, there was a little trouble, and I'm going to see if I have that. The first plunger tube that I received for this was a little bit too long, and I'm going to try to show this. Well, maybe if I did it from the other side. It was just ever so slightly too long. And the screw holes for this wouldn't line up. And it made things difficult. Now, I have modified my flak a little bit. But let's talk about the stock, because I actually received an extra stock piece. And this is the very back end of the stock, right here. It's this black piece right here. So, first of all, this is incredibly smooth, and it does not grip. Even though it has these lines in between each part, it does not grip. I thought about taking something to this on the back of mine and trying to make it a bit more grippy, you know, like maybe making diagonal lines across these straight lines with a triangular file. Where is the triangle? I don't know where the triangular file is to show you. With a triangular file, and just going over it until there were lines, and then going in the opposite direction and doing the same, just to make it a little bit more grippy, because this isn't grippy enough at all. And I think the reason why is because this surface is what is on the bed of the printer as it is printing. But I've got to tell you, Captain Slug's print quality, and I've been researching 3D printers because it has always been my dream to 3D print half of the parts required to build my own Caliburn. That's something I've wanted to do for a good long while now. And the print quality on this is outstanding. It is a solid object. Whenever I grabbed and it was the very first piece that I pulled out of the thing. And mind you, I've done some mods to this, minor mods mostly, not permanent mods or anything like that. Was this front grip piece without this white piece in there, and this is heavy. It feels like something that would actually properly attach to a rifle. Okay, and that's outstanding. Let me tell you, that is outstanding. It makes me happy in a way I can't tell you. And that's the way most of the pieces on this flak actually do feel. They do feel rather well. And I'm just going to put that down there and grab another dart and shoot it again because it's lovely. And I'm not priming it the right way. So my first modification was I added a little bit of hemp rope to the tail end of this, just to give it a little something to grip on. And it does the job, but it's not perfect. And I think what I'm going to end up having to do is cut this coffin shape in a piece. It's not even on camera. I'm going to grab this one. Is to cut this coffin shape out of a piece of grip tape is what I'm going to end up having to do. Because this does the job, just not very well. And the intention and we're going to talk about that in a second, is to be able to prime it like this with relative ease. As far as the, use the fatter finger, as far as the air pressure control, it's not perfect, but it is marvelous. It will shoot a dart clean across my house. And my house is long and far. Why am I trying to do... Just being silly. Just being silly. It goes right where I point it. I love it. Okay, so the stock is a little too smooth. And at first, you might think it's a little weird for being angled the way it is. But it's meant to compromise for the way that you're going to end up aiming down this. All of us who have ever had Nerf guns, we have the tendency to point the end up a little bit. And it actually does give you the opportunity to shoot it a little bit more straightly. Now, I have done another modification on the end of this. There was only one hole for the, for the nut in the screw for this piece right here, the part of the stock, and Captain Slug was very nice to give me a couple more inches length of pull, because this is meant for a 12-year-old. This is not meant for an adult like myself. A Caliburn is meant for an adult. This is meant for a smaller bodied person. And we're going to talk a little bit about that too. So I'm very grateful to him for this. So I drilled another hole because there is another spacing for another nut and another screw. And I just drilled it out so that I could do that. And this is now way more sturdy. I also put a little hemp rope right here on the lever because this thing has basically chewed up my hand in the process of just using it. It's left little cuts, and so if you get one of these, I would recommend sanding the lever where your knuckles are going to be, or wrap a little paracord in here. And before we continue, because I've already heard the complaints about this being small, this lever right here, I'm a guy with really big hands. This fits with plenty of room. This is very comfortable. Would I have preferred a little bit larger of a loop? No. And we'll talk about why in just a second. My major problem with this section is this, in the handle. There is a cutout, and this part has bit my hand more than any other part on this blaster. And I don't think this should be this way. I think this should be a solid, grippy piece. Ah! I just did the dumb. I did the dumb. That was me. That was not Captain Slug. That was me. Ow! What's your finger placement, kids? It bit me, but it's not that bad. You know, there's no cuts or anything like that. This lever system, though, with the rod, I really don't think that there is a better way to do that. My only question is, and I'm going to prime it again, don't pull the trigger this time, is the part that contains the barrel, this part which is not listed on the parts list, by the way, why is this not riding on the inside of the U-line? That's my only question. Because there's not a lot of hand purchase because this goes back and forth like this. And honestly, I don't know if you could have done this differently. I'm not an engineer. I don't know. Okay? I can't believe I pulled the trigger. It's because I was paying attention to what I'm seeing on the computer and not paying attention to what I'm doing with the thing. Okay, so this has 3 rubber bands on this right now. And I'm going to try to show you the mechanic. So here, let's just take off the rubber bands. That way I don't bite my own hand again. Okay, let go. So this is just a sled. Okay, and when you prime this... Oh yeah, I'm holding on to the part that I shouldn't be. When you prime this, this little armature up here drives the sled back. There's a little bit of a problem with this. Okay, the first problem is that sometimes these bands, if I could just pull one please, thank you. These bands get caught underneath the sled, and that's a problem. That requires a little bit more work. And it prevents it from catching correctly. And I'm going to try to show you the catch mechanism. I'm going to hold this right here. I'm going to bring it up to the camera. So the part that's moving is the catch. And this is a 2-piece trigger. Okay? And basically how this works is while you're pulling down the hammer, it is hinged in such a way as it pushes, as it lifts up the front of this, and this is hinged in such a way as this part being pushed up, which you can kind of see by the sled wiggling, forces this down. This release right here down. And these wings, which don't really seem to have a purpose at first, is what catches the sled and keeps it in place. And there is enough spacing around that sled for cords to go through. Okay? And whereas this is not a perfect seal, trust me whenever I say if you try to put 2 O-rings on there, one of the O-rings is going to slip off and be left behind. Trust me, I've tried 15 different ways to make that happen. It doesn't. Okay. So I'm going to put a rubber band on here so that I can more efficiently show off the functionality, because this thing is beautiful. Now, I now have 2 babies, basically. Bixby, I'm not talking to you, hun.
I guess I misheard you.
That's okay. Why she can automatically hear me in the first place makes me a little weirded out. So I just put on 1 cord, and the way things are laid out, if I put on more than 2 cords, one will get caught underneath the sled, forcing it up like this. And that makes it really difficult to catch, because the catch isn't very big to begin with. It's this little tiny thing that catches on a little tiny part here. This back piece right here, where it catches beneath the roller, is where it's going to start wearing down first. Okay? The second piece that's going to wear is this, and we'll talk about the rest as we go along. This piece here is going to wear because you torque on it as you lever. Okay? This is the piece that you have to hold on to make it work. So, I mean, it's got a pretty good air seal. It's not perfect, but it is still beautiful. I doubled up the O-rings on, just chill there, on the pusher because I wanted a little bit more support there. And something that is not talked about in this instructions is this piece right here. You need to put one of the 3 O-rings that you might get in the set underneath this green piece to help make it seal a little bit better, and that doesn't show that in the instructions. And the screw up here and the screw down here align this piece, and if you don't know that, you can scratch shit up. Okay? Be aware. So what else? Let me see if I can remember. I really wish this was not 3 pieces. I don't think that it would work any better. But what I really wish is this was a little hardier and was a single solid piece. But again, I don't know if that would work any better. It would probably have to be some kind of a carbon fiber or Kevlar laced 3D printed item, and that's expensive and would up the price of this over one part. The release is genius. Okay, there are 2 pieces that require you to make a knot, and the first piece is the trigger, and the second piece is this right here. There are 2 knots up here at the front of the magazine placement and release, and it runs through the release. It's one piece of cord, it's one piece of elastic cord, and you knot on one side and run it all the way through this, and then knot on the other, and there is a screw that holds this piece in place and acts as the hinge. Excuse me, 2 screws. And this is genius work, Captain Slug, right here. This is beautiful, and the way it's done, I mean, this piece right here is so solid. I don't imagine it wearing down very quickly. I also, what else did I do? I also drilled this. Well, no, I didn't drill the hole in the U-line, but I drilled through, and I don't even know if you can see that, this little plastic tab back here, so that I could put 2 more screws in this to make it a little bit more solid. I kind of wish it was backed by a hex nut, but I was afraid to drill too deeply for fear of screwing it up, because there is already, and I'm gonna have to turn you over and bring you in real close. There is already wear on these tabs from cranking on the front of this while priming, and I wanted to give that some rigidity. Also, Captain Slug, I want to talk to you about barrel accessories, because I need a barrel accessory. I don't need a scar barrel. Sorry, I'm tired and I haven't had near enough soda pop. I need something that is not a scar barrel that goes on the front of this barrel that will allow me to shoot mega darts. I'm literally talking about, I pull it out of a pouch and I just fit it on. It's just friction fit on, and load a mega dart in the front of it, prime the weapon, and fire it. And I was also kind of hoping that this barrel would fit a rocket, a demolisher rocket, but it's just slightly too narrow. And so what I had originally done is I had moved this piece back to where the demolisher rocket firmly sits on this barrel, all the way through, all the way to the head of the rocket, and it's just a little too loose. It just shoots like 5-10 feet not very far at all whatsoever. And so what I'm going to end up having to do is to see if I can fit the front of this with orange electrician's tape to make it fit. But I don't want to go too tight on that fit, I don't think. Because here's how I am. I am Mr. Versatility. I am Mr. Versatility. I want everything that I use to be as versatile as is possible. I want this to shoot demolisher rockets. I want it to shoot mega. And on the subject of 3D printed accessories for your Nerf blasters, Captain Slug, there are two holes right here, which are generally used for a Picatinny rail. If you just created an accessory that didn't interfere with the functionality of this implement, that gave me a set of sights when I turn the weapon, because there are going to be times where you're laying down with this thing fairly flat against your chest, or even just canted like this, so that you are a smaller package behind cover so that you can fire. And I'm going to kind of show off how well this shoots. I'm going to, if I can find it, where did I put it in the box with the darts. Wallcom, Captain Xavier. I've never seen one of these before. I ordered this long before I bought this. You guys need to understand something. You are entirely too used to things like this. Putting this in my hand in comparison to a Nerf magazine is amazing. Bixby, I'm not talking to you, sweetheart. Thank you. New phone problems. This is amazing. So, and another thing that you guys just don't talk about at all whatsoever is how small Gen 3 worker darts are. These are the dinkiest darts I've ever seen in my life. You know, I wish... Here we go. I have a waffle dart tucked away back here. This is a standard waffle dart, which is approximate to the size of your average Nerf dart. I'm trying to line these up. And this is the size of your average worker Gen 3. You guys seem to miss the details, okay? So I'm just gonna load this up and run through like 15 rounds the way I would if I was being attacked by a horde of zombies. Bixby, honey, I'm not talking to you.
I guess I misheard you.
That's right, you did. Go to sleep, Bixby. B-roll A, action. If somebody sends me something this nice for free, I can't say what I want to say. This is a really neat blaster. This is badass, especially considering the fact that what I'm used to is stuff like this. And I would totally rock this. And this is a stock Alpha Trooper, okay? There's no mods in there. I know that you can barely see through the little window, but there are no mods in there. Okay? I would totally run this at an HVZ and be happy. I would be shooting like this a lot. because that's the only way I would be able to hit anything. But yes, I would totally rock this at an HTZ. This is my baby. This weapon's name is Baby. I'm not like Captain Xavier. It doesn't need to be in battle for me. I don't follow that philosophy. Performance is what gives name. And this thing, I have not discovered its name yet, but this is mine. Nobody else may touch it. It's going to go up on my wall. This doesn't have a place on my wall. This is going to go up on my wall. Now, you know how I review things. 2 thumbs down, bad. 2 thumbs way down, we aren't even recommending that. Okay? 2 thumbs up, it's good. This is not so good. Needs more work. Yeah. But in this particular case, and you know, way up means really, really good. Now, I'm not going to give this 2 thumbs down. I'm not going to give this 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down, or 1 thumb sideways. I'm not going to do that. Okay? This I bought for my birthday. I am satisfied with my purchase. I still think it needs a little work. I really do. And that being said, it's not 2 thumbs way up. It's 2 thumbs up. Needs a little work. Needs a little bit more R&D. And honestly, with a genius like yourself, Captain Slug, you're going to take this to a whole new level. And when you do, I want to be there. Okay? Now, if you guys want to see me review more things like this, please hit like. Please subscribe. But do not forget that I have a Patreon. I am currently working a job and taking care of 2 beautiful children. And in order to do things like this I got the opportunity to buy because it was my birthday. And it might be an entire other year before I have the chance to buy a Talon Claw or some other 3D printed monstrosity. And I've always wanted to build a Caliburn. So hear me. Please hear me very, very clearly. If you want to see more content like this, please go donate to my Patreon. It is going to be somewhere on the screen right here. It's only $5 a month, and it allows me to sit in front of this camera significantly more frequently. Guys, thank you for going on this little journey with me. Have fun. Be safe. Take care of each other. This is Captain Frank Hawks, and I'm signing out.